used AK, Luqueta, and Nick. Came in with a lot to prove this season. What have they accomplished through 3 games, and how do you think they've impacted overall your defense?
Yeah, 3 games, it's hard to say right now. But in general, obviously AK's made some splash plays. He's been able to get pressure. He's been able to get a sack. Tarburton, we kind of know what we're getting with him. He's very, very consistent. He's physical as anything. I think he would like to, and we need him to be a little bit more disruptive in the passing game from a pass rush perspective. And Jesse, for a guy that really hasn't done a whole lot of this, has probably been a pleasant surprise. We thought he'd be pretty good, but you never truly know till you get out there and do it. And he's done a nice job so far. So we're going to need those guys to continue to grow and evolve as the year goes on.
Hey, Jake, how important has the portal in community college been to you guys? Do you have a strategy? Things have really pivoted?
Yeah, even though we have had success with the portal, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a huge fan and believer in it. I guess there's a time and place for everything. I guess we probably view it like a lot of people do. Almost like junior college players, like the situation we have with Lackawanna, where you're trying to maybe fill a void that you have, especially in the upper class, while you're waiting for a younger guy to develop and grow and mature. That's how it's been for us. I wouldn't say we're ever going to be a huge transfer portal team. I wouldn't say we're ever going to be a huge junior college program, but obviously with having Lackawanna in state, it's made a lot of sense to us, and I hope it's made sense to them as well. But it's really to fill immediate needs. Maybe you have an injury. Maybe you have a guy that maybe just needs another year of development, and it probably makes more sense for him to be in a complementary role for a year and then be the starter the next year. It helps you with that. Get some immediate impact guys from a veteran, experience, maturity standpoint.
And do you have an overall kind of strategy for redshirts this year? And our 2020 guys, do you have to consider that with them given their eligibility situation last year?
Yeah, so we're not really approaching the COVID year at all. We're kind of looking at guys as they were, and then we'll deal with that down the road when the time comes, knowing that there's some flexibility there. But from a redshirt standpoint, as you know, it's kind of fluid. So we kind of have the guys. I sit down with all of them before the season starts, and some guys we say like Kalen King that you're going from week 1 on. Some guys are going to have a special teams role, and maybe it grows. Some guys we're going to try to hold their red shirt unless there's an injury, and then some guys are clearly just not ready yet. But that changes. Some guys in the beginning of the year that you didn't think were going to factor in, by mid-season they're ready to go, either because they've improved or because there was an injury or a lack of production in front of them. So it could be a combination. So it's really very fluid, but we do track closely like how many games guys have played, because once they get to game 3, you have to make some decisions and be strategic, because you don't want to just burn a guy's year, and at the end of the year, you wish and they wish you hadn't. Yeah, I think it normally would, right? Because you'd get to play a lot of those guys typically early on in some of the out-of-conference games. Kind of got to figure out who people are and then adjust from there. But I don't know if on the road at Wisconsin is the place to figure that out. So yeah, I think it's been impacted by our schedule. I think that's a fair thing to say.
For about as long as you've been here, you shied away from guys having more than one role. You've had multiple kickers. You haven't really played guys on both sides of the ball, but now Jordan's kicking everything. Jesse's playing team positions. Marquise is on 2 sides of the ball. you've talked about why that's the case, but is there sort of a philosophy change in the openness, especially since you've had guys that have been willing to do that in the past?
No, I think a couple things. I don't think the philosophy has changed. I think you would prefer to have guys specialize. You'd prefer to have a punter. You'd prefer to have a field goal guy. You'd prefer to have a kickoff guy. Maybe a field goal and a kickoff guy, or two of those jobs. But you prefer to have guys specializing. So combination of need and skill set. So we have need. Obviously, losing Adisa changed things. I don't know if we'd be doing that, but losing Adisa changed some things. But we also have some guys that have the skill set to pull it off. I think it's the same thing with Marquise. We have a need, and he's got the skill set. He's one of those guys, like, if you're just picking a backyard football team, Marquise is going to be one of the first picks because he literally, naturally could play both sides of the ball. Now, being able to handle all the details that come with playing both positions at a high level, because you just can't throw him in and say run a go, and everybody in the stadium knows every time he goes in it's a go, and if he's in there it's probably not a run play. We don't really want to operate like that, but I wouldn't say it's a philosophy change. It's a need right now, and it's a skill set that certain guys have.
With John Lovett getting his first reps last weekend, what did you like, and how do you see him?
Well, he's an experienced guy who's played a lot of football. Obviously not here at Penn State, but has played a lot of football. I think he has, maybe a little bit different style, maybe a little bit more quickness, maybe a little bit more juice. Like you mentioned, he goes in there against Auburn first playing time, and the moment wasn't too big for him at all. Again, back to he's played a lot of football, in his college career so far. So I think you'll continue to see that as a kickoff return guy and as a running back. As he has success, he'll get more opportunities. I'm sorry, a little bit louder. Yeah, I think the first thing is we're doing a pretty good job of bend but don't break defense in general, and we seem to be able to make critical plays at critical moments, very similar to what you've seen with Brisker. He's made some big plays at critical times. I think the other thing is people's playbooks shrink down there. We're pretty good against the run, especially in obvious running situations. And then I think our guys are doing a really good job of playing the ball in the air. I think we got more guys making plays on the ball in the air right now on the defensive side of the ball and keeping their poise when the ball's in the air. A lot of times defensive players, the ball's in the air, they get tight, and I hate to use the word panic, but some defensive players do. And I think we have a lot more experience in the secondary. You guys heard me talking about it early on. I felt like I had a chance to be one of our best secondaries. And they're just comfortable and natural, when the ball's in there. I think Joey Porter's play on the sideline, I think, was a really good example the other day. The ball was thrown behind him, and he used those go gadget arms that he got and that he has, and kind of got the ball out of there at the last minute. But he was relaxed kind of throughout the whole process. Obviously, Brisker's made some big interceptions. Tig has as well. So I think it's just a combination of all that.
How do you think Brandon fit over the last couple of years? And what do you do moving forward, Jayson?
Yeah, I think Brandon is obviously super talented. Really has been since high school. We've had a very close relationship with him and his entire family kind of throughout the whole recruiting process, and since he's arrived on campus, he continues to grow. Not only each year but by week, playing different positions, which also helps him as well. He played out to the field last year predominantly, and now is playing into the boundary. So I think that's helped his overall understanding and confidence. But I see Brandon getting better every single day, and I think you'll continue to see that as the season goes on. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Brandon. We took all these guys to the lake this summer. I mean, he looks like he was made like in a lab. Like if you were trying to build a Frankenstein linebacker, I mean that's how it would be. I mean he's as impressive of a young man on the field and off. He's killing it academically. he's doing a really good job. I'm really proud of him. I think you'll continue to see him, have success this season and moving forward.
James, I know you're focused on your current team, but Micah and Oweh had big games in their second week in the NFL. What's that mean to you? What do you think about them producing early like that?
Yeah, I think it's not much of a surprise. I mean, obviously you got two different situations. We lost Micah last year because of the way the season was handled by the Big Ten. But obviously you guys know, we all know what a difference maker he is. I think he was a steal at 12. I think Dallas got a steal at 12. And then Jayson, obviously, there's a lot of conversations about him and his athleticism and maybe, a lot of discussions about production, specifically when it came to sacks. But everybody that I could talk to and have interactions with about Jayson and what I thought his future was like, I was pounding the table for him. So there's nobody in our building that is surprised by the success that either one of them are having.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.